Welcome back to KDB Fishing. Shimano here. Just go ahead and start this video off and giving a shout out to my boy Joe Metzger. He's been a good friend of mine since like junior high. We've been on a lot of adventures together. We like to hike, camp, fish, hunt, all that fun stuff. If you want to go check out his page, it's Minimalist Outdoors. Like I said, he's got some pretty good content on basic survival types of things that you need for hunting and whatnot. So give a big old shout out. Joe Metzger, that's my homeboy. Today in this video, we're actually going to be talking about different kinds of fishing line. I'm going to be just doing two different ways to rig up your poles. One product review, just because I just got this for Christmas and I don't know how well it's going to work. But let's hope it works like it does in the commercial. Started. First things first, we're going to do the two different fishing lines. There's actually three different kinds: monofilament, FLourocarbon, and Braid. I typically like to use Braid and FLourocarbon just because FLourocarbon is more, it's much stronger, more resistant to abrasions and whatnot. And it has a slow reflex or slow stretch time. So it's not like monofilament. Monofilament's like boom, easy, and it just stretches out really quickly. But anyway, this is 30-pound braid, and this is what I mainly use on all my bait casters. This is a cheap bait caster from Wal-Mart. It's probably like 60 bucks. I just thought since I was getting into fishing, I wasn't going to be trying to spend like $200-300 bucks on a fishing reel. So you can go down to Walmart and pick up bait casters if you want to try these out and see if you like it. If you want to try something new, I would suggest starting at Walmart, Fleet Farm. You don't have to spend too much money right away. If you want to, go ahead and do that too. I mean, this first. This is, so like I said, this is the 8-pound FLourocarbon, and it sinks much faster. It sinks much faster than the monofilament will or the braid. Braid actually floats, monofilament floats, and has a really slow sink rate. So what I will do is that I will use I think that this is only 8-pound. Yeah, I think this is only 8-pound FLourocarbon. It is FLourocarbon, I know that. I just can't remember the poundage I put on here. But since I use this, I usually flip this into like brush piles. I'll flip it into, over the rocks, whatever. It's just, usually you would use this with, flaky worms, jigs, crawdads, Senkos, anything like that. So I actually have all my boxes down here. I don't know what I want to rig onto here. I'll just rig a Senko on just for the sake of quickly putting this together. Right here I'm using, I believe it's a size 6. It's a pretty big hook, and 8-ounce cone weight. Only 2 I'll be using. Also, before I go any further, I'm gonna let out some slack on this bad boy. Only reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to attach some FLourocarbon leader to my braid. So once I get this one done, then I'll jump to the next one to explain further. And probably gonna do maybe about a 2-foot leader. Hope I don't lose it. It's invisible. It's invisible. Okay, so here comes the fun part, tying all of this together. Let's see how this hook easy does. I'm gonna give it a try on this video. If it takes too long to do it, then I'll say skrank it, and I'll just do it the way I know how to do it. Just do it by hand, the old-fashioned way. So this is the Hook Easy, and I got it for Christmas. It's River and Coast. So yeah, if you've seen the commercials before, ouch, all you do is just open it up. Once you got it opened, then you take your hook and you will place your hook inside and then close it back. And then that should hold it. And look at that, it does actually hold it fairly well. Not really. I'm not liking it so far. Maybe I did it wrong. Oh, I did it wrong. There you go. Okay, so there's a specific way you have to put the hook into there. So it looks like on this flat side here is where your hook will go. So it's got to go in this way. And then once it's in that way, the hook will push against that, and then once it locks, it shouldn't move. It moved on me. You got to place it in there just right. I'm not liking it so far. It seems like it's taking much longer. I'm much quicker at doing this by hand. This just, I don't know. I don't like it. Probably just take some time to get used to it. But the reason why they have this is because probably you don't want to hook yourself while you're trying to tie on a hook. So just have this bad boy so then you can tie it on easier. So what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to use this 8-pound fluorocarbon since it sinks so heavily, so quickly. We're gonna rig this up with Texas rig style. So we could put anything on here. We could put a crawdad. You can rig it wacky. You can rig it Senko with the Texas rig. There's just Carolina. You can rig a Carolina rig too if you want to. You can do a drop shot. I do have other rods and reels, but for now I'm showing you the Texas rig on the 8-pound fluorocarbon. So what we'll do is we'll put the cone onto the line first, put the cone sinker onto the line, let that slide down. Going to attempt to use this thing. Hook, and you want to bring it out about 4 inches. I just do that just to have enough to hold on to, and then you just twist this. We'll twist it for you. I usually give it a count of 8 to 15. That's a weird range, but 8 to 15. So once it's twisted, you will grab your tail end and you will come down into the loop of the line. Once you tie into the loop of the line, that's at the not through the eye of the hook, but just through the loop of your fluorocarbon. Then you'll take the tail end that you just put through the loop of your fluorocarbon and you'll push it back through the loop that you made when you went down the first time. Then you'll just grab onto that. You'll wet your line. If you don't wet your fluorocarbon line, it'll be much quicker to abrasion and your line will just snap, and then you just pull. I think it's really good because you won't hook yourself while you're trying to, especially if you're in a tournament. If you can get good at that, you won't hook yourself and it can be quicker than trying to do it by hand. Now you have Texas rig there. Well, that's not a Texas rig yet until you put the bait on it. So I'm just going to select a bait out of here. These are all my fun baits that I got. So red rigs, tube jigs, Helgamites, crawdads. That's the wrong box. They are labeled. I just didn't read it. I did catch a lot of bass on this just in the fall, when the fall was just hitting here in Minnesota. So it works really well. In the summer, I probably won't use it as much. I'll use more of a swim bait, or I'll use like the lipless crank I have down there. I'll still probably use it, but not as much. And of course, you want to try to set them flat, because if you don't set them flat, they will get a curve in it. It's got that memory, so that's fun. All right, so we're going to take the hook. We're going to slide it just past the barb, right into this little crook here. And once it gets that far in, then we'll push it out. Pushed it out. We'll slide it up the hook, spin it around, so now it's covering the hook, the eye of the hook, and covering the line. There's a little slit on this one. Not all of them have that, but there's a little slit right down the lateral line of the worm. And so I usually go about halfway into that, pop it out. Now, the reason why I do that is so you have just enough of the hook sticking out, but not too much, so it's pretty much weedless. If you want to make it more weedless, you can go a little bit further down the hook, or closer, I should say, a little bit closer down the worm, and then it'll be even more weedless. And it's just a little bit of hook, but now it hangs funky. But hey, that can catch bass too. I've caught bass like that as well. Usually when I'm fishing with this, what catches the most weeds is your sinker. So if you could find a weighted hook, sometimes you can find weighted hooks where it has a little bit of lead back here. It should be tungsten because it's safer for the environment, but sometimes it's lead. But there should be like a little bit of lead or tungsten weight that's on the hook itself. And when that's there, you don't have to have this cone sinker, and you'll catch less weeds because this will just slip straight to the weeds. No problem. People are always worried about the hook catching the weeds when it's a sinker. So if I can, I'll probably go out and buy some of those at some point. But for now, I enjoy using it like this, and it works really well. And I will be using this next summer when it's time to go fishing. So that's the 8-pound fluorocarbon with the Texas rig. Of course, the fluorocarbon, like I said, it's very abrasion resistant. Of course, over the time of you bumping into stumps, rocks, whatever's down under the water, it's going to get some abrasion into it, and then it will just break eventually. So never forget to retie after catching big fish. And I'm going to put a 2-foot leader on it. I'll explain that as I get ready to set this all up. I'm not going to put the leader on it. I'll just explain what that leader will do. Cut really easily. Okay, so what that leader will do is, because this has a very sensitive density to it. When a fish hits it, boom, it pulls it immediately, and you can feel it. So the difference with braid is so tight, and it's got no stretch, no give. It's just solid. Wham, hits. So, but anyway, what you would do is you would tie, I forget the name of the knot, but you start a loop over here. You would start a loop, make a loop on this side, wrap it around. You put this in here. You put the braid into the fluorocarbon. You would also do a loop on the other side, and then you wrap. But when you get to the braid, you'll take your braid and you'll wrap it around the fluorocarbon as well. And then when you pull it tight, it won't come off. A lot quicker. So you could be fishing with like a wacky worm or something like that with the braid if you wanted to do that. And that way you can have the strength of the braid. It can rip through lily pads, grass, anything like that. Be very strong, as well as the fluorocarbon being very strong and not so easily cut or ripped through. So you can have the strength of this, rip through the lily pads, like I said, but then you can have the sensitivity of the fluorocarbon, and that's why you would want to like, comment, subscribe. Really helps me out. I want to grow my channel. I want to reach. I say by the end of the year, I want to reach at least 500 subscribers. So help me reach that goal, okay? Like, comment, subscribe, share these videos. Going pro. We're going to try to go pro. My tournament year is coming up. This is my tournament year, 2019. I have all the tournament lists right there. I just got to get them set up and going. Keep questioning and keep fishing. All right? Keep fishing. Just enough.